Yo, welcome back to another episode of Timmymon Duel Links. I've been looking around for some TLDRs, how to play Amazons. Because I've been out of the game for a while. There's some new decks that have come out that I didn't get the chance to play, but I couldn't find anything that was high detail. So I've decided to start my own versus series where I'll play one deck against all the other top meta decks and sort of tell you your win condition, help you figure out what to do, what not to do, and hopefully this helps to increase the level of play in Duel Links. So before we get started into this video, shout outs to my sponsors, YGOsingles.com. If you play the TCG, please check them out. And if you use the discount code Timmymon, you get 5% off your purchase. And that does help me to continue to bring you more videos. They have the new Brandish cards, or the Sky Strikers, so if you play the TCG, you want to get a good deal on them, make sure you buy it from there. So yeah, let's get into this profile. I picked up a random list. This was just a list that was posted on the Duel Links Meta Discord. That's a really good resource. If you're in the Discord, they have tons of deck lists. I wouldn't always copy them card for card, but I think this is a good beginning point for Amazons. So I guess since it's a popular deck, we don't really have to go through the cards. We just know that Princess has two effects, one to search, one to discard or send and summon. The summon effect's pretty good. And then Onslaught has three effects, one to summon, one to banish, like see stealth attack, and another to summon when it dies. Destroy and send to the graveyard. So those are pretty much the only effects that we need to know. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. We've seen these cards forever, and the ratios of these cards are pretty obvious as well. Amazons, you play the 10 monsters. These monsters are pretty much always the same, and you play 4 Amazon traps. These are pretty much always the same. Some people will play 2 Onslaught and 2 Willpower. I prefer 3 Onslaught because this card's insane. It's like your win condition against everything, so I don't know why you wouldn't play 3. I guess you could brick, but you want to be able to have access to the third. And Treacherous Trap Hole is kind of interesting in this deck. It's starting to become more popular because all of your trap cards are continuous, so they tend to stay on the field. So your Treacherous Trap Hole is usually always live, and in the off chance that it's not live, you can send it with Amazon Princess to the graveyard to summon another monster if you need to, but usually you don't really need to. Enemy controller, 3 Econs, they're busted. Econ still Econ. You can Econ take for game, and Chalice is just another utility card. You can use it offensively for 400 or defensively as a effect negator. So these 6 cards, the Econs, the Chalice, and the Treacherous, these are sort of interchangeable with other defensive or utility cards. So like Cosmic Cyclones, Super Ratchet Lungs, Offerings to the Doomed, you know, these kind of stuff. You can play quite a lot of stuff in these spots. Yeah, but it seems like this deck is pretty jam-packed. There's not a lot of spicy things you can do with it. So this is the list that I used for the replays today. So we'll do 5 replays, and we won't do a live game, but we'll talk about the matchup. So if we just get straight into it, spellbooks, there are 2 types of spellbooks. There's the 20 card and the 30 card. The 20 card often plays Grit, but sometimes Restart, and the 30 card plays usually just Restart, sometimes Grit, but less often. And I think Amazons versus Spellbooks is slightly in Spellbook's favor, but if it's the 30 card, I think it's heavily in Spellbook's favor. They have 6 starter cards where you only really have 3 starter cards. So your Princess, whereas they have Secret and Blue Boy, and I guess even the other one. Hold on. Spellbooks. Without the S. this one, Crescent. So they also have Crescent, which is like a pseudo starter card as well. If they have Crescent Master, like that's fine. So the weakness of a Spellbook deck, to be able to be the Spellbook deck, we have to figure out what the weakness is, and it's quite obvious. If you look here at the Spellbook cards, they don't have a lot of monsters. So Spellbooks tend to only have 6 monsters. Usually it's 3 Magicians, 3 Fools, and sometimes they'll play like either 1/1 Reaper, Prophecy Destroyer, or 1/2, or they will definitely play less than 9 monsters, and only 6 of them are normal summonable. Whereas you have much more monsters in them, and your Tigers even come back. And apart from that, they only have 3 Fates, which can be recycled a maximum of 9 times if you count Eternity, and Master copying Eternity. But most of the times, Master will copy Secrets or something like that to set up a 3-card Fate. So you usually won't see more than 5. I want to say 5 Fates, maybe 6 Fates if they're quite resourceful. So our strategy straight away here is to either run them out of monsters or run them out of Spellbook cards and Fates. So basically our objective is to outgrind them. Spellbooks don't have a good recovery, so if they mess up and don't end with a Magician or a Secret or a Eternity, they can't extend their turns. So yeah, okay. So how do we do that? So one of the ways to out them of their monsters is Treacherous Trap Hole. This is very obvious. It's a 1 for 2. It pops 2 monsters. That's very easy. Another way is to attack with your monster first, and then use Onslaught's effect to special summon and a second monster and attack over it. So that's another way to out them of their monsters. They will almost always fate your first monster, so the second monster is usually fine. And then the third way is to use Willpower or the Baby Tigers. So key thing here is this tiger is 500, but it gains attack for other Amazons, and this is also 500 only. So usually your tiger can kill a Magician. If not, it can definitely trade. So those are your ways. So your objective is to get more monsters on board so you can control the board. Spellbooks can only deal with 1 card at a time, so if you're able to put 2 monsters on the board, that's really good for you. The other thing is to out-resource them. It's when you're out-resourcing them, you're using pretty much the same cards, but you're playing them in a different way. So you can on their turn put out a monster with Onslaught, and then on your turn put out another one, and if you can swarm the board with multiple monsters, that's really good for you. A good reason to use this in their turn is usually they tend to set their fate, so they can't activate it in response. So you'll definitely it'll prevent you from losing your Onslaught straight away. But okay, so we figured out ways for us to win. How do we lose? We lose when we lose all our monsters. So if we can't put on multiple monsters, we have to figure out, okay, if our opponent doesn't have a lot of damage on the board, we can just keep our monsters in our hand to prevent us from losing all our monsters early on. So if I only have 1 monster, I would consider holding it. Maybe wait until I have a second monster and then summon one, and then special another one in the same turn, because they can only fate once per turn. So that's a way. So one way for them to beat us is just for us to run out of monsters. So we have to realize that we can't just summon 1 monster at a time. We have to summon 2 monsters at a time. The other way is we just run out of Onslaught. If they fate 3 Onslaughts, or they fate 2 and we don't have an access to another one, or we just only have access to 1 and it gets fated, it's not good for us, because they can literally summon this dude and there's almost nothing we can do. We have to like Econ take or Chalice our queen over it, or it's just really awkward. So yeah, those are our lose conditions. So we want to try to force them to fate what we want them to fate. And yeah, let's get into some replays now, and I'll try to talk about it some more. This first replay is not actually up against Anime Impact. This is Silent Loft D, world's competitor, third place or fourth place, third or fourth place. And he's a good player. So luckily enough, he was able to, he was willing to play me. And so the first thing here, he opens grass and he opens full. So the first thing that we're looking for is, we're not complaining that he opened good, but we're actually counting how many of his key cards are gone. So we've got 100 and I don't know how many seconds, but we've got heaps of time. So as he does this, we're counting how many cards are gone. So especially the fates and the monsters. So we have 1 fate gone and 2 secrets gone. So this is his last secrets. So if we are able to stabilize, then he doesn't have a good follow-up. So secrets, and 2 masters gone, and so he has very few ways to recycle his fates. So this is his second fate. He's got 1 more fate and one master. So he adds the eternity Demok. That's good for him. He adds life. So he's able to, if we clear his board, he's able to recover. And unfortunately, we don't have a really good hand, but we're going to do what we can do. What he does here is good. So most people, they won't do fate on the summon. People will tend to fate you on your attack. But what happens when we fate on the attack? If we attack the Demok, we're able to discard the enemy controller to get another monster, and then we're able to econ take the Demok. So here he's just preventing us from fixing our hand. So econ take, he's gonna have to banish the Demok. We search, and then we set. That's all we can do. We're just hoping he doesn't. We're hoping he doesn't have too many. Too many things to do. So this is good. Oh, okay, this is really good for him. Here, he summons 3 monsters, so it makes our econs dead. We don't want to respond to Magician. That's the most useless card. So here, I think for a while. So the replays play really quick, but here I spent a lot of time. I was thinking whether or not I should just econ or Amazon willpower, and then if he does anything to the willpower, I can still econ. I wanted to willpower first, so I can. Why did I want to do that? I wanted to be able to willpower the Reaper, and then bluff Onslaught with a monster in hand for the full. But it doesn't matter. He has fate. We know that this card is the card that searches 3. That looks at the top 3 cards and rearrange them in any order. So we're just hoping for a good top deck to keep us in the game. And that's not good for us. We do draw the best top deck, and we're able to pop his monsters. Luckily, we're alive. We draw a monster, and a lot of people here in the chat when I just passed, they're wondering why did I just pass? Because I know that he has a destroyer in the grave, and I counted how many he had. I think 5 in his graveyard. So I didn't want to summon this and just lose to this. So my only line of thought was, the only way I can win is if he attacks with the blue boy, I onslaught, bring out the princess in defense, and then he cancels this attack and then attacks with the destroyer. So let's see what he does. It doesn't matter anyway, but regardless, what he draws, we still have to play perfectly. So although we lost, that was very informative. This just shows you how hard it is to break up boards with a like, I'd say I opened a good hand, but even with a good hand, we can't really do too much. Okay, let's have a look at the next replay. So one thing he did well was he fated on the summon, so before I could attack. A lot of people make that mistake. If you're playing spellbooks, make sure you don't make that mistake. I'm pretty sure even I've made that mistake before, but after playing Amazons, I realized it's better to just fate before they attack. You don't want to help them fix their hand. Duel. So this is another pretty good hand. I'm always, if I open princess, I'm happy. And our opponent, okay, pause. Here we're counting how many monsters are gone. 1, 2 monsters with a Reaper, so a life is good for him. How many different spellbooks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 different spellbooks. With the secret, that's 5. So he could go for a life play right now and be up so much advantage. How many fates are gone? 1 fate, 2 fates. So he's only got 1 fate left. So when we're playing, we have to keep track of what's going on. 30 card is better than 20 card against us. So that he doesn't end up going for the fate. We go for the princess. I think it's fine here. This is good. He's fating before we get to attack. So our opponent, he's playing very well. He's fating before we attack. Maybe he could have lifed in his turn, but last turn, but he I don't know, he didn't. He master secret master. He secret master secret. So that was not that good. Because your masters are limited, it's better to use Eternity and then copy Eternity to get back these fates. So not only does that put more cards in the graveyard, it also recycles the limited amount of fates that you have. So as a Spellbook player, you have to do it in the right order. If he had done this last turn, he would have an extra monster that's just for free. So here we go for Onslaught. We just don't want to take damage. Here, okay, whoops. This attack, I spent a lot of time thinking, but I opted to let my princess die because I'd rather my princess die than to get banished. If it dies, I can bring it back with willpower, and then I'm able to just thin out my deck some more. And even if it dies, because I have Onslaught face up, I can just banish this, it's fine. Whereas if I econ this, then he can fate this, or even fate Onslaught, and then yeah, if he fates Onslaught, I don't know, boost up a guy, attack over this, I don't know, it gets kind of confusing. So I think it was just best for me to just let my princess die and keep my econs. And take an extra 500. The bad thing is we have to top deck monster. Luckily we do draw monster, and that's fortunate for us. And we kept econs, so we can econ take. And here he's choosing what to banish. He banishes the his own blue boy. I would consider banishing the Onslaught. But yeah, I could see where he's going because he would be at 1 card if I crashed his blue boy. So I think it's okay. Here we're just hoping to not die. We have 1 econ set. Maybe we're okay. And he goes all in. He's top decking. And I'm thinking this is probably the last time I'm able to use econ on anything that's more than just 500. So I use it here. And fortunately enough, we draw another monster. You know, we've gone through 3, so we still have 10. So Oh, sorry, we've gone through 3, so we still have 7, so the odds were in our favor. And also, I felt like because I had the econ, there's no way he's gonna kill me in the next turn. And during this, we get Tiger. Tiger gets out. Yeah, summon this, gets out Tiger. Now we have ball control. There's no way we're losing this. He pops both, but yeah, we summon monster, summon Tiger again. And the problem with this game from our opponent was he just didn't use the spell books in the right order. He in his, I think it was the 4th turn, in one of his turns he could have ended with double fate, so he was able to actually fate once in his turn and then fate once in my turn, and that would have put him in a much better position, but he opted to master the secrets to search instead of mastering eternity. So yeah, so a bit of misplay from our opponent and a bit of fortunate luck for us, but that's the sort of thing that we need to win at the KC Cup or the World Championship qualifiers. This next game, we're up against Bonds. Is it Grip? Could it be Grip? If it's 20 cards, it's more likely to be Grip. It is 20 cards, but it's restart. I feel you. That was a pretty good hand though. He restarted a pretty good hand, but it's okay. We open 2 monsters. This is probably one of the ideal setups. We've got 2 onslaughts, so he's not gonna fate both. We've got Econ. That's whatever. We don't mind sending that off later. And we've got Princess, and we've got Tiger. Tiger is probably our key card because once Tiger goes, it can come back and goes and come back. Let's see what our opponent does. So we're keeping track. He plays secrets first, so now we know he because he played secrets, we know he probably can't go for a 3-card fate, but actually he can. I was wrong. Okay, so there was a problem from our opponent. He let us attack, and he's gonna fate anyway. So if he was gonna fate the monster anyway, he should have just done it before I attacked. So this is his problem. He could have had the same situation, but I would have a dead econ in hand and a queen still in the deck. Fortunately, I still have a monster. I'm able to summon it. Eternity. Eternity, Fate, Eternity, Secret. I think this master to get back the secret is okay, just because he needs the numbers in there. So this is just a Fate. So here we've already won. So we're gonna use this to summon this. We're just abusing the Tiger. I make a slight inaccuracy. This should have probably been out in attack mode, because if I draw another Tiger, 2 Tigers is 1000, that's game. Also, if I draw a Princess, 1200 is more than 1000, so that's also game. So I'm still learning as well. And every time your opponent is eternitying for a secret, he's not eternitying for a fate. So we're totally fine with that. And every time he's mastering, oh, so he's got 2 fates here. So this is good. This fate should go for the dog, the Tiger, because the Tiger is the annoying card that keeps coming back. But he ends up going for a double fate. And here it's kind of awkward. We have to draw monsters to win. Not impossible. Most of our deck is monster. If it's not monster, it's good traps. that's fortunate, but it could have been monster as well. And after that, at this point, he's out of resources. He's got 2 cards left. I almost don't even need to do anything, and I think it's still winning. I think he dicks out. Yeah. So it was even pretty close, even though our opponent misplayed his first fate, and the replay went too fast, so I can't tell if he could have played the spell's orders better. But if he had fated my monster before I attacked, and meaning that I couldn't get out the queen, it would have been much more awkward for me, because I would have another econ instead of a 2/4 attack monster on the board. So that's a way to capitalize on your opponent's mistakes. I've got 2 more replays. Up against Stratos. Why is everyone playing Arcana? He's also, it looks like, okay, 20 card spellbooks. This hand is very awkward, but the reason I opt to summon, where I usually would choose not to summon, is because I opened up the double chalice. So I'm thinking, if he has Blue Boy, maybe this chalice can get me there. The chalice, I feel like it's almost enough to prevent him from doing a 3-card fate. Actually, it should be enough. I'm not sure though. We'll find out. So he has Eternity, now he has Fate. Yep, so it's true. So that was good. He fates. When did he fate? He fated before I could attack, so I couldn't fix my hand. So that was good. That was good on his part. And we're at this point, we're just hoping to draw some monsters. So we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spells and traps. So 9 out of 14 are monsters. Any monster will do. And he actually plays Justice of Prophecy, adding Magical Marionette and another card. And because Magical Marionette's kind of awkward, here I could have actually onslaughted this out for an extra 500. Magical Marionette's awkward because you have to tribute some of that, or you have to like send it to the graveyard and life it back, or you have to life something in tribute. We have another chalice. So your chalice is only really good against Blue Boy. So fortunately, our 2 chalices hit 2 Blue Boys. And if he's we're just hoping we can draw monsters after monster quicker than he can fating us. So actually so there's that combo again. We bait out the fate, and then we summon a monster to attack over his monster. So he's forced to treacherous that. That's good for us. I probably wouldn't treacherous there, but double cyclone. He's hitting the onslaught. This allows me to bring back the tiger. I think that's the only monster I have. His is spicy. 20 cards, and he can fit all of these. So this is the most value I'll get over get with Econ. And yeah, this card's dead, so I want to keep it so it's as if it's a monster in hand. But now I have 2 traps, so I want to set them both to I want to set them both so he doesn't know which one is willpower. and later on if I really need to I can get rid of this for another monster, but he's out of resources, and yeah, that's it. We've got one last replay, and this video has gone on way too long, and I really hope it's helpful. Leave a comment down below if it is helpful, if you want to see more of this, if I should just cut it slightly shorter. This is another replay against Silent Fold. This is what you call opening the nuts. So sure, he restarts. We open a Princess, Treacherous, and multiple monsters. So we are super happy with this one. And our opponent opened an average hand. Our opponent opened an average hand, and he has Fate. So what we're gonna do is actually, yeah, we want to attack. We normal summon this because we want to special summon one of these other ones. And he actually takes his attack because he doesn't think we can kill him. But actually we can kill him. Because we definitely know this is a Fate, because he wouldn't search not Fate and set this. So this is 100% Fate. We actually do this kind of cool play where we pop both our monsters, we summon a monster, and that's able to summon Baby Tiger in attack mode. It's pretty epic. I just wanted to share that replay because not often do you pop your own cards with Treacherous Trap Hole, but in this game our opponent was playing Restart, so we're able to actually pop our own Tiger to put just enough damage on board to attack for game. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this video. We're gonna do some more videos. If you like this, please leave a comment down below. Tell me that you like this so I can bring more. If you don't like it, we'll do something else for the next videos. So anyway, that's it for me for today, and I hope to see you again later. Peace out, guys. See ya.